Coffman. This is Jessica Fuchs, and this is my daughter, Inara. Say hi. We met you at one of your town halls at the Aurora Public Library. We just had a few questions and concerns to share with you. So to give you a general idea about Inara, she has a generalized seizure disorder. She was diagnosed at 11 days of age, and she didn't start medication until she was close to 4 months. She also has hypotonia, which means her muscles are low tone. She also has developmental delays, a cortical vision impairment, and failure to thrive. So in 2011 to the end of 2014, our annual income averaged at about $75,000 to $80,000. That's 2 parents and 2 children, 2 dependents. Starting in late 2014, I became Inara's parent CNA. I am her home certified nursing assistant, and on my W-2 this year, my income was reflected as just over $33,000. Now, under the IRS Notice 2014-7, that is not a federally taxable income because it's considered to be hardship income. So until then, we didn't have the means to cover her durable medical equipment, and our insurance definitely would not pay for this kind of thing. So I'm going to show you some figures here in a minute, but Medicaid has covered a bath chair. They've covered 1 wheelchair in the past. We're ordering a new one. 2 gait trainers. One's more of a gait trainer, one's more of a walker. A medical bed, which you will be surprised to find that costs just over $7,800. These are all things that we need that are not covered by our insurance, and you'll be able to see just how overwhelming these expenses are, just on a maximum $80,000 a year salary. Okay, so the first of my concern is the Affordable Care Act. It placed protection specifically for our family, and I'm sure others can relate. Our private insurance wouldn't cover brand medications as well as they would cover generic medications. So we definitely had to dig deep in our pockets to afford that kind of thing. Also, certain types of diagnostic testing was not covered. If you can imagine how many thousands of dollars each one of those cost. Sometimes that had to come out of our pocket, or we had to hire a lawyer to get in front of our insurance to get that covered. There was one medication, I remember, for about 6 to 8 months we were paying $203 out of pocket. It was a brand medication. Its generic was not effective in treating seizures. We also had issues getting her durable medical equipment covered. Anything from orthotics for her legs, and later a wheelchair, was not always covered, and because it wasn't covered, it was not attributed to our out-of-pocket maximum. We also received many letters before the Affordable Care Act took place, saying that our insurance wished to underwrite a lot of our daughter's conditions, even though she had been covered from minute 1, and her symptoms did not present until 11 days of age. Because of Inara's needs, we qualify for a Medicaid waiver called the Children's Extensive Services Waiver, or CES, and under that waiver she has received a variety of services that have greatly improved her capability, even most of her doctor's prognoses. Currently, she's receiving PT, occupational therapy, speech therapy. She has in the past received vision therapy for her CVI, massage to alert her body, hippotherapy to help train her muscles and brain in walking in the future, music therapy as a part of communication, and we also receive housekeeping services. As you can imagine, our days and nights are very full. We don't always have the time or the energy to keep up our house the way we'd like to. So that's something we get as well. So I really only have 3 questions for you. How do you plan to protect those with pre-existing conditions? Whether through the Affordable Care Act or a new plan, quite frankly, Ryan Care freaks me out a little bit. A health savings account is just not feasible from the figures you saw. I can't imagine any more of that coming out of our pocket. When we were nearly homeless. My second question for you is, what do you plan to do to maintain or possibly expand Medicaid coverage? I feel like this is an overlooked group of people. A lot of people think that people use and abuse Medicaid, and I can tell you, getting it is a pain in the butt, and getting things covered is just, it's really difficult. It's time consuming and it's difficult. And if you, God forbid, you have to call the Medicaid office, because honestly, you can do it right when they open. You could be on hold for 4 hours before you get to speak to somebody. And my third question for you is, how will you hold the insurance companies accountable for covering conditions, pre-existing or otherwise? We'd be so screwed, honestly, if we lost those protections, if our insurance started underwriting her conditions. We'd be out of pocket a lot of money, and like I said before, we'd probably be homeless. So thank you for your time, and we hope to see you Thursday.